Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live broadcast of the Fivers Futures. I am Dave, your host, and let's see what we can get into today. How are you guys doing? Let me know in the comments. I have Daniel in the house. Nice. Very good to see you. Um, all right, I'm already taking a little quick scalp here before the open. We've seen some nice opportunities since yesterday before the open, so we'll see if we can get a quick scalp to the downside and maybe revert back up. So today we're gonna go over every one of the indices as usual. We're gonna take a look at gold. We're going to talk about trading gold. We're going to take a look at oil, of course. And if you have any questions, if you have comments, whatever you want to know, let me know in the chat and I will make sure to respond to that. And as usual, remember to like this video. It helps us a lot, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. All right, I have Elvin from Kenya. Welcome. It's good to have you. Good to see you today. Let's see what we can get into today and what trades we can catch live for you guys. And see if we can get a win together, or we will learn together. Because we don't lose, we just learn. All right, guys, let's take a quick look. First of all, I've made an observation about the Nasdaq. We're gonna start with the Nasdaq since that's what I've been looking at. That's what I'm trading, and I'm gonna give you my idea behind what I'm doing today. Yesterday, we caught part of this short with Steve live. I'll be making a video review on that, and I'll post it very soon on our YouTube channel. This way, you guys will know what kind of setups we can find and catch at the open. What I'm trading this morning is a similar idea. So actually, you know what? Let's just look at it. Let's just look at what was the thesis behind yesterday's trade, right? So this is a longer time frame. This is a 15-minute chart, but we were trading faster. We were trading the 5-minute. Let me put it on the 5-minute. This way it'll be better. It seems our short is not working, so I'm not going to hold that for too long because this is an idea that should work fast. And we're getting close to the open, so I guess we're following the trend line. So we'll give it another few seconds. If this doesn't get rejected here around this level, we're getting out. This is our line in the sand. We were short. I was looking for another move down there, but I guess we're going to follow the trend and revert back to the upside. And the longs might look good. I was thinking we might get the longs later today on the Nasdaq, and I'm going to show you why. But it seems like we're holding up pretty good, and we might continue higher after that huge push that we had once Trump and Iran made these announcements. Let me know in the chat if you hear me correctly, guys. All right, let's leave this here while it's cooking. Let's look at the setup we took yesterday. So we had this huge up move the day before yesterday. So about 1,000 points. And if we measure from this low here all the way to, if we measure from this low from about 2 o'clock all the way to this high, we're talking 1,000 plus points, all right, almost 5%. So what was the idea? We had a clear channel in the pre-market from the Asian session through London all the way to New York. So we had price moving up and forming a nice structure. Now, what happened before the open is, if we zoom in, we had an initial drop, right? So we had these high formations there. So we had a previous high there. Oh, sorry. Let me just take my drawing tool right there. We had a previous high there. Then we had a higher high over there, which started to get me thinking, okay, maybe we might continue to push higher. But then we formed another high there that was similar or equal to the previous high. And we saw some profit taking or some selling there, a sharp move. Now, this was sustained rapidly right before the open. But once we started pulling back, we were not able to, and we got to this level. We saw some buying right before the open at around 920, and the buyers were not able to sustain this buying. And once they pushed up, this was rapidly rejected at the previous high there. So this is what you would call a classic break and retest trend line short setup. So basically, the concept is what? You break the pattern, you move back up, you retest this high, it gets rejected, and you move down. Now, we retested twice. So we had this, which was the first retest, moved down. They tried to buy it. We went all the way back down and formed a lower low, and then retested back up, if I'm not mistaken, and then pushed down. So what I did is, once we got this retest, I set some orders below the area where buyers were trying to get in. And the logic was, well, if we're going to move down, we're going to move down sharply right after the open, because it's 9:30. We know moves happen fast. And that's what we did. We entered here. We had our stop above this high, and we were targeting areas of interest. Now, what were the areas of interest? Well, we had our opening range. So the first 15 minutes of the open, I usually use this, especially on the Nasdaq and ES, to measure kind of the expected moves. And we measure from 9:30, so about here, until 9:45, more or less. So our range was pretty wide. This was more or less the range we had. So what we were targeting was about a move, one, we'll call that one standard deviation below. And that's exactly what we got. We shorted around here, and then once price got to this low, so we would say around the 29,950, buyers stepped back in really hard, and we saw volume, and then price reverted back to the upside. Now we continued channeling down in the afternoon, formed kind of a sweep of these lows here. And so there were some other interesting setups late in the day. And then Asia and London has pretty much been muted the whole time. So I want to see, once we open, what kind of reaction are we going to get. We had some news come out at 8:30 Eastern. So we'll see what happens there. But that was the idea, the short there. Now, I'll admit we were in the short, but we had some aggressive buying here. And then we had somewhat of, a lot of indecision going around here. So we took some initial profits here. I started thinking of flipping my bias here once we got this indecision, because we stayed, at least from a scalping perspective, we stayed in that area for quite a while. I would say about 40-45 minutes. But then I flipped my bias and caught the rest of this move, and then we reverted back to the upside. So we're looking to see what's going to happen today, but that was the trade yesterday. Quick explanation, but I'll do a video on it with examples so it's clearer. But what I'm looking at today is, okay, let's look at the past to kind of understand what might happen in the future. So last time we had a parabolic move like this, what happened? So we have to zoom all the way back out to, where was it? There. Okay. Let's zoom here. I have a lot of information on the screen. So let me just change. I'm just going to turn everything off. And then we'll turn everything back on in a few. Okay, so last time we had a parabolic move. What happened? We had our move up like this. Then we pulled back and we oscillated for quite a while. And we did pull back to about 50% of the move within the next day. So that was March 23rd. By March 24th, we were already down there. We kind of found a level of support around this 24,200 area. We pushed up again. So what we are seeing is that we consolidated for a decent amount of days, right? We consolidated from March 23rd all the way to March 26th, retested these bottoms, continued to push lower before we reverted back up. So that's one thing we need to keep in mind, is that, okay, just because we had this huge push does not mean that we are going to continue to push up immediately. We might go and retest half of this range. We might go and retest the bottoms. So that would be, quote unquote, the bearish scenario. We need to keep that in mind. But we need to also keep in mind, and I'm going to show you this little pattern formation in a bit, that so we have the neutral and bearish scenario. The neutral scenario is we continue to oscillate around this area for quite a while. The bearish scenario is we oscillate, but we push lower. Now we are definitely at a key level. We are at a whole number level. We are at the $25,000 area on the Nasdaq, which is a very, very interesting, and I would say a round number for the Nasdaq. So we need to figure out, and I've put this as a, let me get my lines back in. So show studies. This blue line here is, I would call it an inflection point, because this is a key number. It's like, okay, are we going to be able to hold above this? Because we saw that buyers stepped in and they've kept on stepping in higher. So they started at 25,900, then at 927, 920, 950, 900 and almost 25,000 there. They went back to the 970s and then stepped up in the 80s. Now we're right above the 25,000 area. So we want to know, okay, are they going to keep holding and pushing back up? And what should we look out for? So if we keep pushing back up, well, we have quite a number of levels to reconquer. We have the rejection here at the 25,116, so 25,100 if we want a whole number. We have it slightly higher at, we would say 25,150, so 50 points higher. And then we go all the way to the 25,200s. So we have 1, 2, 3 key areas to break before we kind of continue to the upside. And then we have, major levels way back from March all the way there. So we have a lot of levels to reconquer before we're able to really push back up. So we want to see, okay, what is going to happen? How is price going to interact? If we're going to push higher, in my opinion, we have to do it hard, and we have to do it fast, and we have to do it from the open, right? If there's not going to be any hesitation. Because if we get hesitation like we did yesterday, where we tried to push up, we might just pull back, and a lot of stops might be getting hit, and price might hesitate to roll over and continue upwards. So we are in this, decision making point there, right above this $25,000, at least on the NQ, to decide, okay, what are we going to do? Are we going to push up or we're not? So we're about 15 minutes to the open. I'm going to just let this trade cook, like the young people say, and we'll see what happens. I have a pretty wide stop on it, which I'll just, again, like I always say live, my stops are reference points. What I'm really looking at is, okay, can we hold? So my areas of interest are here, right? Can we hold above this 25 basically? And also, can we hold above the whole number? Can we hold above this $25,000 area, key area there? And then I'll make a decision. I don't really want price to revert too much, to pull back too much. What we want is to, because we're scalping, of course, what we want maybe is, if we're going to do a pullback, it should be very shallow. It should be within this area, maybe fake that it's gonna go lower and then quickly revert back to the upside and kind of form a increasingly bullish structure. So we'll see what happens right on the open, and we'll keep an open mind. As we get closer to the open, I will tighten my stop, because this is a scalp. This is not something I want to stay in for a long time. So we'll see. Now I got induced into going long once the news came out, but we'll see what happens. All right. So that is it for the NQ. Whoa, sorry. Whoa. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I had flipped short. Oh man, let me put my position there. I had flipped short once this thing reacted there. So we are in a short actually. All right, no problem there. Yes, now I remember. I had flipped short when we couldn't push up there, and that's the trade I was induced in. So yeah, we're holding now. All right, too many trades in my mind because I'm also trading my personal account with alongside this account. So I'm forgetting which position I'm in and where. Sorry about that. Oh, Ryan's in the house. How you doing? How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, let's look at the ES, but I'm going to do it quickly on TradingView really quick. So what is clear on the ES, and I have it marked here for you guys, is we are in, I marked this box, we've found clear levels around that 6,790 area, and we want to see, so, we've had this descending trend there. We want to see, okay, are we able to break out of this and break the middle of the range, maybe pull back a little bit and continue higher and go retest these higher levels? We want to see, okay, are we able to get that? Or instead, are we going to get a fake move to the upside? So we break higher and then we find sellers again where we found them yesterday, go retest lower, and maybe go and check that lower end of this breakout, the 50% area that Steve and I were talking about yesterday. So similar to the Nasdaq is what we're possibly looking at here on the ES. Let's go to the Dow Jones. Dow Jones, again, a similar structure. I would argue that the range is much tighter on the Dow Jones than it is on the other indices. So we are forming higher. So in comparison to the ES, where we have, the asset was bought at the same level, on the Dow Jones we formed higher lows and then we have equal lows there. So it looks slightly, very slightly, a little bit more bullish than the other assets, but we'll have to see. Now, if we flip over to the Russell on the other hand looks a little bit more bearish than the other ones. So we're getting different reads on the assets. And then on the Qs, I would argue that, we're a little bit neutral, maybe tending towards the more bullish side, which is why I should be in a long and I should have flipped my bias. So what I'm going to do is close this right now, and then we will reevaluate once we open, because I don't want to get my trades mixed up. Let me check my other trade. Give me 1 second, guys. That is the thing when you're trading multiple accounts. Sometimes you get your ideas mixed up. And sometimes I like to test things out. I like to see, okay, what idea is going to play out, what idea is going to pan out on which asset. All right. Let's hold this here. Okay, we're good to go. What are you trading, guys? Let me know in the chat. The chat is very quiet this morning. The chat is as quiet as the market because the market has barely moved since Asia. Let me know. What do you guys? We've barely moved, for example, in the NQ since Asia. Where is it? There, 16. We've moved. We've had less than 100-point move. We've moved 90. We're in the 94-point range, which is tiny for the NQ. So let me know. Are you guys as quiet as the indices? What's going on there? What are you trading? How is your trading going? I know Ryan has been killing it. Account was down all the way down to 97 bucks. You told me you brought it back up to 600. This is awesome. By the way, I saw your DM. I responded and responded late. Sorry about that, but I was live all day doing back-to-back stuff. So I hope you saw my message, and hopefully we can talk. Let me know what you guys are thinking. What are you seeing in the markets? Elvin, it's your first time here. At least it's the first time I've seen you in the audience, in the chat. Let me know what you're looking at. What do you usually trade? Let me know, guys. And yeah. Remember to like, remember to subscribe, and let me know what you are looking at. Okay, so we're gonna rotate to gold now. Let's let me open it on TradingView instead. Okay, so gold can be tricky to trade intraday unless you see very, very, very clear setups, right? So the title today was when to be this. That's one of the things we want to talk about is when to be aggressive on gold and when shouldn't you be, right? We have taken a few setups, a few trades on gold when they were obviously and blatantly clear, and that's when you take the trade. It's like when you are when you would kick yourself after hadn't you taken that trade. And per your system, that's going to vary, right? But there are setups that are very clear, and I'm going to get into them in a few, but I just want to zoom back out and look at the asset overall. So as usual, we talked about this yesterday. We had our huge run up on gold. We pulled back. Let's see what Ryan is saying here. I'm currently in limbo at the moment. Agreed with your thesis. However, the market is looking pretty indecisive, so waiting on some momentum volume to kick in. Yeah, I agree there. We will see what the market does. So, again, when I present ideas, when I present things, they can always be wrong. That's why I always present the bullish case, the neutral case, and the bearish case, because, that's usually what the market does. It will either go sideways, go up, or go down. And we can prepare. And based on, our setups and how we trade, we can take decisions. So we'll see what happens. But thank you for that, Ryan. We'll wait for the momentum to kick in. We're about 4 minutes till the open, and we'll see what decisions we can make there. But the thing about gold, yesterday we were talking about risk on and risk off assets, and gold tends to be a risk off asset, a safe haven type of asset. So it's basically, if you we want to think about it in a very simple way, gold is the thing where you've made money in another asset and then you go park your money there. So, old folks used to go and put their money under their mattress. The unfortunate part of that is that when you put your money under your mattress, it's not going to keep growing. But the advantage with gold being the safe haven that we usually call it is when you've made profit, when you whatever you made an investment, it paid off. Gold is one of those assets where you can go rotate to, invest in, and hold it longer term because it is, like the name says, supposed to be the safe haven type of asset. Now, we had gold have a weird behavior because we had uncertainty. I said Epic Fury started here. So the war started here back in March 2020. I mean, in the 27th of March. And we had a sell off, right? Well, okay, this was understandable for me. And then we moved sideways, which was still understandable because this was people trying to figure out, okay, what is going on? Sell off being a little bit of panic, money managers needing cash, needing to respond to margin calls and stuff like that when oil shot up. But then we had this huge sell off there, which I still have not explained. Maybe it's more panic, maybe it's just this move, but amplified. But it's also, and I was talking about that with Steve yesterday, it might be, people getting ready, people putting money on the side because since we had this huge run up on gold for basically the whole of 2025, right, into the beginning of 2026, this is you. Because if you got in early, even if you got in at the bottom here, you're still making profit, right? You've still made about 50% there. So this move is probably cash sitting on the sidelines, getting ready to redeploy. And we've seen somewhat of a V-shaped, very, very nice recovery on gold. And we've also had positive news. So with the positive news of that 2 week break, we've seen gold kind of roll back up and we've seen the oil futures push back down. So we want to see, okay, what's going to continue to happen with the asset. If I'm a betting man, I think for the next 2 weeks, we continue to see the safe haven push to the upside, right? At least I would say to go and test that initial 5,000 number. Of course, that's my personal opinion. I'm not giving you investing advice, but that's if I'm a betting man, if I were to bet on gold, that is what I would think of. And what that structure would look like, I'm not thinking a very, very aggressive move. So you're thinking next 2 weeks, counting from yesterday. So that from there to there, let's see how many days. By the way, the market is open. So we'll get back to gold. All right, we're breaking to the upside. So I have the other trade working. The other trade, I'll put you the other trade I was in from there. My stop is there and we're holding it. Unfortunately, this one was on the opposite side. That's why I got out. So we'll see if we get follow through. Brian saying feeling more of a bull today. However, I'm also keeping at the back of my head that there was negative unemployment and GDP news. Yes, we had those numbers come in. Let me see if I have them there. Yeah, so GDP news was US GDP was weaker. Core PCE came out. Let me pull up the numbers. All right, let's get the numbers here. So at 8:30, we had GDP numbers came in at 3.7 versus 3.7, 3.8. Okay, so not as significant. They're kind of weaker. Not a significant number there. Let me see PCE 0.4. And let me look at the jobless claims 179. Okay, so the jobless claims moved down. So it's kind of mixed for me. We'll see. We will see. The price will tell the truth. All right. Ryan saying you're feeling like more of a bull. Definitely that could happen. We'll see. We'll see what happens today, and I'll show you in a few what I'm thinking if we're bullish. Um, I just expect some fake moves first until we can find the real direction. Barry, what's up? What's up? You're saying, yo, Dave, do you weigh more to the price action or more to the other book when coming up with a thesis? Well, it depends on the time frame of the trade, right? What you're seeing me do here every day is scalping. So the I will use the order book from time to time. Here I like to use when it's when it doesn't give issues. This that's basically it resembles bookmap. Give me a sec. Let's try to pull it up again. It's been giving issues lately, unfortunately. I don't know if you guys use bookmap, but that is usually there's a heat map where you could see where orders are sitting, and then you could see the velocity of the orders. So I'll use that to guide my scalps. But unfortunately, when I'm talking to you guys, and especially if I'm hosting alone, it's hard to just focus because when I'm doing that, I have to be quiet. I have to be watching the orders and looking at them, and I'm not ready yet to do that and talk and comment at the same time. But I would say the trades, at least when I take them live with you guys, the price action is informing them a lot, right? And since I've been trading for a while, I don't need to really look at the orders. I'll usually have a 1 minute chart, and the by the way the candles moves, I can kind of tell, okay, which side is being aggressive. Now I can't tell where orders are sitting, but I try to see and look at the structure to determine, okay, this is where we might have some profit taking. So, key levels 25. If you're trading the Nasdaq, you know how it moves. Averages on regular days 200, 300 points a day. And then every 25 to 50 points, price will tend to look to stall, right? So, for a quick idea, if we're looking at price structure here, we wicked up, we tested this 25, very simple, 25 100, right, which is a whole number. And then here we move back down. So once we pull back, so here we have about 88 points. So I would expect some wicks there. It's almost 100 points. And if buyers are going to support, this is the area they should support in. So I would say it's a mix of uh, the 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 price action, the order book, but most of all, zooming out and looking at, okay, what is the overall structure of price? And that's what I was going to talk about with you guys. So I'm going to put, this might be a controversial, but this is a line chart. I'm going to put it on the 15-minute chart. And let's look at, I was looking at this yesterday. So if I look at, if I forget this part because it's not going to allow me to show you the price correctly, but if I want to simplify things, right? We have the 25,000 whole number in the blue line. We had the price move up and form a high over there. Let me put a circle. And then price move down. Because price, whether you, well, at least that's how I analyze it. The price is always moving in some sort of channel, and then it breaks out of this channel and forms a new channel. Then we had price kind of start to revert back up. So what are we looking at? Well, we're looking at this old high there, and we want to see what is price going to do when it gets to this area where we found sellers. Well, it pushed up, and right now it's rejecting that area. So okay, it started to reject. Now we want to see where is it going to find buyers again. Well, last time it found buyers was here, and then it was here, and then I have these little circles there that are more granular, right? So you want to see, okay, the new channel we're going to form, are we going to continue this pattern? Are we going to do another down move similar to, well, let me just grab this here. Are we going to do another continuation like that, where we form kind of a wide channel like this? If I put it really simply, really granular, are we going to form another channel like this and continue a structure lower towards the low of the range? Or, on the contrary, are we going to be able to reconquer this old resistance level and find buyers where we found them before and kind of form a more bullish structure like this, right? That's what we're trying to figure out and trying to find out. Now, that is much longer term, because that could take, the whole day to happen. But shorter term, we're looking at these levels with that in mind, with the fact that, okay, we want to see, are we forming a lower moving channel or a higher moving channel? I forgot to leave these on. So let's see, like that. That would be moving lower. And then like that, finding support here and moving higher. That would be our structure, right? This is the moves we're looking to trade. These are, sorry, the moves we're looking to trade. So we're going to see, are we going to be able to do this, or are we going to be able to do that? And as day traders, all we're trying to capture are these impulses. So we're trying to capture from this to this. And then we get out here. We see, okay, it moves up. Is it going to move down again? It corresponds to this level. Okay, we're getting in here again. And then we want to catch from this to this. That's what we're trying to do. And we're trading inside this downtrending channel. If we're day trading, of course. If we are thinking longer term, then we are zooming out and looking at a much larger structure. So to answer your question, Barry, first of all, I'm looking at the structure overall of the price. I'm zooming out, and I put it in the line chart so you could see it very simply. Then I'm zooming in and looking at the price action. And then if I'm trading with you guys, I'll just be looking at the candles and how they move. If I'm trading alone, I'll probably pull the order book to take some of my decisions. But overall, the price action, I would say, weighs more, in my opinion, than the order book, because the trades I'm taking are, I'm trying to hold them for 15, 30, maybe an hour. So that's what we're doing there. Now, if I was taking trades where I'm holding them for 10 minutes or less, maybe I would weigh more on the order book. All right, so far we are not finding a clear direction. We'll see. We've found buyers there, which is a good thing. So we formed a previous high there, which corresponds to the middle of our channel. We found buyers exactly there where we circled before, right? So for people who are taking extremely fast scalps, you had a quick 40-point move there, right? You could have caught that, or you had a quick, there's probably a 50-point move. Yeah, 60-point move there. So we're seeing sellers again. And now we're thinking, okay, are we going to continue to push lower or not? And what we want to see to really make a decision, at least in my opinion, is what are we going to do there, right? What are we going to do in this area right above the 25,000? Are we even going to touch this area? So we want to see. If we're bullish, we're not going to test. We're not going to test this again much, or we're not going to test it. Sorry, for long. So we'll see what happens there. Now I want to take a quick look at the overall market. No problem, Barry. That's what we're here for. And keep asking questions. I enjoy it. The I would say the most rewarding and the most fulfilling thing in trading for me, at least right now, is just sharing knowledge and learning from others. That is the most fulfilling part for me right now, because the money is great, but once we pass away, we leave all the money, and but the memories and the knowledge we share, and the happiness and joy we bring to others is something we can hold on to forever. So we were talking about that yesterday on our Discord webinar. That's the part I really enjoy. All right, so we are right now kind of oscillating. We want to see what is going to happen there. We're still inside this channel. So for a trade to be valid, at least for me, I want to just see, can we get outside of this channel? Are we going to move up or are we going to move down? And we're going to be patient. We are 42, okay, 9:42, so almost 15 minutes in. Let me look at my volume profile. All right, so we found some sellers around this low volume node around here, up there, around these 27 100s, which is normal. Our point of control is where we found buyers. So now, can we push above this level? Can we break out and continue higher? And this is to answer Ryan's question. And we're probably going to break higher now, but let's look at what I was looking at before. This is a very classic chart pattern. You have a triangular structure there, and we're breaking out of it. So this so far looks clearly bullish, at least on the ES. Let's look at the NQ. NQ is looking bullish also right now. The YM is looking bullish, but we have somewhat of a resistance there. Let's look at the Russell. The Russell is looking clearly bullish as well. So all good there. Gold is kind of forming a cup and handle pattern. Not a time to be aggressive yet, in my opinion. So we'll see. So now that we're kind of finding our direction, all we need now is, okay, can we get a pullback? Can we get an area where we can enter? Let me turn on the view up. Why don't I see it? All right. So remember, I told you I wanted to see what would happen there, and we're not getting anything there. So that's showing us, okay, so far buyers are being more aggressive. No problem. They're showing us their hand. So we want to decide, okay, if buyers are being the more aggressive ones, where do we want to enter? Ryan saying, sounding like Lance there. Are you a foodie? I should note, after my long trade, my overall view to reject yesterday's high. Okay. I'm sounding like Lance. What do you mean I'm sounding like Lance? A foodie? I wouldn't call myself a foodie. I like food, definitely. I cook from time to time. I like to cook steaks and stuff like that. But I wouldn't consider myself a foodie. I'm not super picky when it comes to food. But yeah. You got long the VWAP rejection. Awesome. You caught that one. That is great. Let's just see. You said yesterday's high. Indeed, yes, that's what I was mentioning a little bit earlier before. Yesterday's high all the way, at least on the NQ, is all the way up there. Well, we have two highs, two areas of concern. We have, so we rejected here the 25 100 area. We have the 25 150s, and then all the way up to the 25 200. So 25 to 20, 25 to 25. We'll see what we do there. So here, let's see if we get a clean pullback. Where's my VWAP? Okay. Oh, that's the 1 minute. All right, 5 minute. Let's since we've been talking about the opening range, we want to see if we can get a opening range structure here. I have my little opening range indicator that I built. Just want to see something really quick. This gives me, based on historical data, potential entry, exits, and take profit levels. Let me put this 20. All right. NQ, 5 minute. Okay, so we're gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for 10 o'clock, and we'll see what happens there. So Ryan is probably saying he got in there on this initial pullback. Let me put this on a 1 minute chart. All right. Ryan's saying he's probably got in around this 25-30 area there. My indicator signals an entry there. This is just a guide, by the way. And then we touch the upper end of the opening range. So we're pulling back and we want to see, okay, what are we going to do here in the 2550s to possibly find an entry? But if bulls are very bullish, then we won't get it. But I'm gonna wait. I'm being patient today. We're about 10 minutes from 10 o'clock. So we'll see what we get there. In terms of what he says, he enjoys these days more than trading, growing together conversation. Definitely. Well, I am no Lance, but it's something I've always enjoyed. I've always enjoyed teaching. When I was much younger, back in my college years, I used to teach English to kids and teenagers, and that was very rewarding. I don't know, it feels good. I like sharing. I don't understand people who just hoard information and don't want to share it. So, yeah. You said 24,857. 24,857. Oh, you're trading. You must be trading the CFDs because there's no way you got this there unless you got in pre-market or since the Asian market. So I think the CFDs are probably 100 points below. All right, buyer stepping back in. Does this make sense? I might not want to wait till 10 o'clock. We'll see. Can buyers be aggressive? All right, this is an area where I'm thinking of entering. We're getting close to this, but if it's very bullish, we're not going to get another move down. So we'll see what the next candle does. And if it makes sense, we'll enter. By the way, when I was talking to Steve yesterday, we were saying how you kind of have to adjust your thinking as you're trading. So we'll see. All right, let's get our channels back in. All right, we have our area here where I said I wanted to see what price would do. So let's see what price does around here. I'm gonna be a little bit more patient. Okay, yeah. So I think there's about 100-point difference between the CFDs and the actual futures. But great, man. Great entry. Barry, let me know. What are you trading? Boyd, hello. How you doing? What are you trading today? Let me know. All right. We're seeing some rejection. Now I'm gonna open two time frames side by side because I want to see on the higher end what we're doing. And let me look at my other trade. It'll take me out. All right. We are definitely forming structure here. So now we are definitely in the area that I wanted to see. How are we going to react in this area, right? Are we going to travel lower, test this 25,000, retest, we won't be able to find more buyers, and then we continue lower? Or will we quickly reject? Will we kind of wick down with volume and then find buyers and then kind of revert back to the upside? So we'll see what happens in a few. It's almost 10 o'clock. I don't want to trade the, I don't want to enter right before the hourly close. So we'll see. But we're finding buyers. Sorry, guys. We're finding buyers right now. So let's see what we do. Just 1 second. I'm looking a little bit at the order flow on another platform. So yeah, we're gonna wait. If we're gonna go short, I want to see a bounce before I enter, and if we're gonna go long, I'll wait. All right. So while this is doing its thing, let me look at. Okay, so we're right at VWAP. Let me look at oil. So oil is pushing up. Let's look at the dollar. Let me turn this off. Dollar's pushing up. So inverse correlation between the dollar. Strong dollar means equities are gonna kind of push lower. And then let's look at our Mag 7. NVIDIA. Nasty price action on NVIDIA. We're not really finding direction yet, but we are trading above VWAP. So VWAP, for those who don't know, volume weighted average price. It's telling you the average price buyers and sellers are interacting at, weighing the volume, so weighing in the amount of transactions that are happening there. So yesterday with Steve, we were saying, so he had a quote and I wrote it down. Let me find it. Yeah, he says you have to match effort with the result, and volume in trading, volume is the effort. So basically, when you see a move, you want to see how much volume is behind it. Is there a lot of volume or not? So basically you're saying, is there a lot of demand behind what's happening? So if the price, for example, starts to revert up, are you a lot of prints? And for you, what that would mean is you're seeing the volume bars increase, and then you're seeing on the order flow, on your time in sales, a lot of green prints happening one after the other, and that's how you know, okay, we're having confirmation that we might move to the upside. Let's look at Apple. So Apple moving down. Tesla is down 1%. Microsoft is down 1.7%. Amazon trading above VWAP. So mixed signals there. We're pulling back on everything. Pulling back. Google's trading below VWAP. Broadcom pulling back above VWAP. Okay. And then Volt ratio is below. Advanced decline. This is basically how many stocks are advancing versus declining. I'm looking at the stock market because we're trading the indexes, the indices. So it tells me overall what is the market doing, and then we can decide. All right, the tick chart is ticking up, at least on the 5-minute. So for me, that's mixed signals. All right, we're below the area there. So right now I'm leaning short. Probably should have left my, well, I would have gotten stopped out either way. So now all I want to see to get in short is a retest to get a correct entry. So we'll put another level here where we had this little retest there. So a good entry short for me would be, okay, at 10 o'clock, we see some transactions step in. We touch, this level here, and then we retest maybe this area, this lower area. That would be the perfect short for me in this circle, or we go retest up there. But if we go much higher there, it's not as convincing as staying below there, because this would mean that, okay, sellers are really in control and we can get a continuation lower like this. So we'll see. Ryan says, was holding out for the 61.8 rejection, but looks like I should have taken out and wait for my short play. If it does close below VWAP and hold, I will take my loss. I'm only a quarter of my usual size. All right, nice. You're an experienced trader. You know what you're doing, Ryan. I believe in you, as I believe the big play is short, but hey, you could be wrong. Yeah, we could always be wrong. Anything can happen in trading. And hey, especially these days, you could be perfectly right. Okay. You could have the perfect setup. And I had that happen to me yesterday. Was it yesterday? I can't remember. Anyways, I was trading after hours, and you could be perfectly right. And then a tweet happens or a truth social post happens, and then boom, you're completely on the wrong side. So anything can happen there. All right. Remember that circle, guys? I am seeing exactly what I want to see happen, right? We want pressure. We want downward pressure here to enter our short. So I think I might even start scaling in. We're probably going to put some offers there. Let's start putting some offers, risking that previous high so we can get the short. I'm not even going to think about take profit levels yet, but we know that we found a lot of buyers in those 950s. So that's one area to keep in mind. So I'll put one offer here, and then I want to see, all right, we have one offer here, but are we going to revert all the way back up to here? So we'll see. Maybe we're going to go and form a new high there, but we're going to see what happens at 10 o'clock. It's not 10 o'clock yet. Oh man, I thought it was 10 o'clock. Wait, let me wait. I thought it was 10 o'clock. Sorry, guys. Still 1 minute to go. What reaction are we going to get at 10 o'clock? Take a quick look. And I might have to mark it in the orders if they're not. Because yesterday we had a good short, but I had to kind of, was it yesterday or the day before? I had to kind of chase it. No, it was with Jane. So I had to chase that short. Why is my VWAP not showing up? All right, it's 10 o'clock. Let's see. Man, I'm going to have to, I don't want to chase this too much. If this runs away from me. So this is exactly the type of reaction we want to see. And then maybe we get a little bit of hesitation, a little bit of sideways action, so we can scale in more. We can add to our position and then control our risk. So let's see. All right, so while this is doing what it's doing, let me show you something really quick. I have this indicator there. It helps me take the decisions. So we traded, let me put this on a 1 minute chart. We traded, the indicator is giving me a mixed signal actually. We traded above, we formed a range. We are now at the bottom of the range, right? So we are basically taking an opening range breakdown setup, right? So if I put a box, let me change screens. Let me get this out of the way. I'm going to show you what this setup might look like looking at it in a different way. So this is our opening range. This first, I would say 30 minutes, so until 10 o'clock. Where's 10 o'clock? Yeah. So this is the range. This is the bottom of the range. And we're taking the breakdown. So we're entering here. What we want to see is, so there's different possibilities. We continue lower, we retest the low of this range, and then we continue here, right? And our target would be about twice the amount of this range for a short. So somewhere down there. If that does not work and we find buyers here and we revert back up, that's why I only have one contract in. We don't want to go past this area here. We don't want to go past the 2570s, more or less, right? And we might add to the short. If this holds too long and we see an aggressive move, then this would have probably been the buy entry. So we'll see. I'm anticipating here just because I don't want to have to chase. So we'll see. Let's see. I'm gonna get to oil in a few, Ryan. Give me a few seconds. Just want to look at this because I don't want to be married to this this position. Because I'm seeing, you see how we're getting wicks, 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 wicks. That's not what I want to be seeing. I wanted to see some more rejection and a retest. So that might be since we're really close here, that might have been, sorry, the long entry. So the long thesis is still on unless we get real rejection to the downside. Hey, Harris bin Sufyan, how you doing? Where are you watching us from? And let us know, what do you trade? Gold, yeah, we're gonna look at gold in just a second. We're gonna look at oil as well. For Ryan, we just got into a trade. We're trading live. We're just monitoring it to know if we're gonna hold it or if we're gonna flip our bias. So we were talking about, okay, we have been in this, climbing range here. We rejected twice to the upside. We went back to this initial area where buyers were entering, and we wanted to see, okay, were we going to get rejection here, which we thought we were getting, a retest and a move down, or are we going to see aggressive buying to the upside? So we'll see. No problem. Everybody's welcome here. You're from India. Nice, nice, nice. So you trade gold and you trade CFD. You're new in futures trading. All right. Well, welcome to the good side. All right. Buyers stepping in. So my thesis, my short thesis so far is incorrect. So let's see. Do we continue to get rejection or not? No problem. I'm just watching this trade as a hawk right now. And you see how we're seeing increased volume there? That means buyers are stepping in. Let me just look at the order book. All right. Looks like they want to hold. Let's see. We're seeing the rejection that I want to see. question is, like Ryan was saying, can we hold below VWAP here? We want to, for the short, and that's why I like shorts, is the reactions are sharp and they're quick. All right. They're trying to hold, but we are pushing lower. And if we get the short, if we're kind of retesting those initial, if we are able to retest those lower buy areas there, I'll add to it. If not, we'll be wrong on the short. And then our target is basically the standard deviation below. So let us see. And then once we add, we'll move our stop so that we're only risking 1R. Buyer stepping in again, trying to hold it, trying to defend that. We're right above the $25,000 level. So it is a key area. We're above that inflection point I've talked about. We're right above this blue line, right? So buyers are probably trying to defend this 25,000. All right, I'm seeing what I want to see. We're almost there. So we're going to add to the short. Our stop is going to be right around here. And then take profit is towards the lower end of this this range here. We'll probably take part of it here and the other part down there. So let's see if we can push lower. If not, I'll be wrong and buyers will win. We're seeing buyers step in. All right, so when price hovers for a while like that, it's not a good sign for shorts, because when you're shorting, the price moves sharply and moves fast, and that's why I prefer going short over going long. But we're kind of in the middle indecision area there. We're right at that cluster here, this previous cluster. So let's see what we do. We just don't want to go back. At this point in time, we don't want to go back above this previous wick there. And that will be a quick scalp. So let's see if we can get it or not. Let me just open 2 time frames. So we have the 15-minute on the right. And we have, we have this 1 minute on the left. All right, we're seeing the rejection we want to see. We're still above 25,000, so we're not out of the water yet. But yeah, I'm not using anchored VWAP. My VWAP is anchored to the beginning of the day. But yeah, you can use anchored VWAP here. All right, buyers stepping in again. They're really trying to defend that $25,000 area. So we'll see. We will see. Yeah, so you see how we had rejection and then huge volume come in? That tends to be a bottoming sign sometimes. So we'll see if we can get it. So my rule is I'll let it either do one pullback or I'll let it go and take my first take profit. Once my first take profit is taken, consider that to be my payroll. I move my stops to break even, and then the second one or third one or however many contracts I'm trading with, I'll consider that to be a bonus. So we'll see if we can get that. And then sometimes I'll move the second one more if price is behaving the way I want it, so we get an extra bonus. But they're really defending that level. That $25,000 level is really, at least on the Nasdaq, a key inflection area. Buyers stepping in. So let's see. All right. While this is doing what it does, yeah, I think we're buyers. Well, let me get this. Let me just look at the other assets really quick, and then we're going to get to gold in 1 second. ES. So ES is above VWAP. So yeah, buyers really stepping in. I think I want to flip my bias right there. Because this second push should have pushed lower faster. Yeah, we're not getting follow through. This might have been the pullback we needed to go long. We had volume, increase in volume on this candle. So I think let's just give it a little bit more time, but the buyers are really trying to hold that 25. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Can we get a sharp move down or not? Because right above the $25,000 area and right above that, you know, we're at the quarters here, and they're defending it. Oh, sorry guys. All right, ES rejected here, which is a good sign. Let's look at the Dow. Dow is rejecting as well, which is a good sign. Russell still above VWAP. Let's look at the Mag 7. All right, so let's look at the other assets. All right, oil is pushing higher, which is good for our short. And let me try to answer Ryan's question. Whoa. Hindsight is the best indicator. Unfortunately, it doesn't make you any money. Yeah, hindsight is always 2020. They like to say it. All right, Ryan said oil bounced off the 78.6 fib and was slowly creeping up yesterday. What's your thoughts on that chart? Slowly creeping up yesterday. Well, here's the thing. The fact that let's take kind of a macro view and not a technical analysis view. Let me just go open my trade there. All right, we're starting to move down, so that's what we want to see. We're just not moving down as fast as I would want for a short, because this $25,000 could still be a support area. So we'll see. Let me leave this there. All right. So oil, even though things are the macro view, at least from things, and this is not only my opinion, it's things I've been hearing, whatever. The fact that there's war ongoing, the strait is closed, I mean, is open supposedly for the next 2 weeks. They're calling, ceasefires, whatever. This conflict is still not over. It's still very much ongoing. So I'm expecting oil prices to oscillate, but to continue to move up higher. I don't think we're going to get back to regular oil prices anytime soon. And when I say regular oil prices, before the war, we were trading in the 60s. I think it was about 65, 67 on CL, on West Texas light sweet crude oil. So at least macro long term, I think prices are going to keep creeping up. And I remember there's this economist I've been talking about that said that the price would keep creeping up about $3 every week, 3 points every week. And unfortunately, if price creeps up, sorry, slowly, that's the worst thing for the price because that will give everybody time to readjust, and we're just going to have higher prices and they're going to stay high. Whereas when you have a sharp move up, you see how we had a sharp move up and then a sharp move down. So at least for our pockets as citizens, if price were to move up sharply, that would be better price wise for it to come down faster. So what are we going to see for now? Macro, longer term view. I see prices creeping up slowly over time, unless we have a real resolution, a clear resolution of this conflict. Because right now we're still in limbo. We're still in what's going to happen, indecision mode. We're not 100% sure. So we'll see. We'll have to see. But for now, I see oil prices continue to creep up. You know. So okay, the short is working so far. Not with the speed that I would want. It's not. So who was it that asked if I use, yeah, Barry was asking if I use order flow and whatever. Basically, I'm looking at the candles right now, right? And you see how buyers are defending the price. Buyers are defending. They tried to defend at the 25, so 25 points above the 25,000 level. Then they tried to defend exactly at the $25,000 level, and now they're defending a little bit the 20 cents below. So we're not out of the woods yet. What you want to see is at least one, two, three sharp candles on the downside, and your move is kind of confirmed. Maybe we'll get that later. Maybe we won't. I don't know. Let's just see if we can get it. First target is half. Well, actually, it's a little too low. The 975, more or less, should be my target. So this was the opening range. This is half of the range. So that's the first target. This is basically 1R. I could try and put it exactly at 1R. So I expect buyers to start stepping in right now. Yeah. So we'll see. This is exactly 1R. We'll see if we can get that. And then this is 2R. So once we get that one, we'll put our risk at break even. We'll basically be 1R into profit. Yeah, buyers are really holding and defending that level, and that corresponds to the previous area where we saw buyers step in, which was right there around 24,980s. So yeah. Yep, we're getting the pullback. Anyways, that's my view on oil right now, Ryan. You took your loss on the long. All right, no problem. It is what it is. But I wouldn't be surprised if we revert back up. I mean, the buyers are really defending these levels. They're not relenting, and they're not letting it move down sharply and fast the way one would expect. I mean, this is what? This is 50 points. Yeah, this is 64 points. Move to move here. What was that? That was 80. So just a logical way of looking at the price action. Move to move. Here we had from here to here, we moved down 85 points. If we're short, if we're really bearish, the next move before we get a pullback should be as long or longer than this move. And here, let me measure it correctly from wick to wick. From this wick to this wick, we moved 100 points, right? Okay. From this wick to this wick, we moved 80 points. What does that tell you? We're moving less to the downside, which means buyers are stepping in. Let's see if we can get another move. If the next one, if from wick to wick, so for example, from here, from this wick, if we continue to move down to here, if we only get 50 points, that means that we're pushing less and less to the downside. What we want is that initial move was 100 points. The next one should be at least 100 or more, to 125 or something like that. If not, that means, well, buyers are relentless and they're trying to push this up, and we're not going to get the down move that we want, and price is more bullish than bearish. So we'll see. We are being patient. We're holding. I should probably even control my risk and put it right there at those wicks. We'll be risking only 1R, and we'll see what happens. No problem, man. No problem. We're here to help each other out. I like your analysis on the market. I know you can do it. You know what you're doing, so don't worry. A loss is you're just learning. Man, you see what I'm saying? Buyers are just not relenting. Now this is maybe my stop is too close. Now, if we're looking this as a break and retest, we're looking at this as a break and retest setup, which took too long, by the way, to happen. The idea is that you break, you retest, and then you move lower, right? That's what we would want. So we'll see if we can get that. Let me put this on a 5-minute. Yeah. Buyers are being relentless here. They're not letting go. We had a push down wick, so all this was looking good. This candle looked good, sorry. We wanted this to continue lower to confirm our bearishness. But bulls have not lost the battle so far. We're going to go to gold in just a minute. Let me just look at something really quick. All right, oil is moving up. Now let's look at gold. So we started talking about gold this morning, and we are saying, okay, when do you need to be aggressive on gold? When do you, at least on an intraday basis, if you're trading it intraday, when are you being aggressive and when are you holding back? Well, right now for me, this would be holding back, right? If we're looking at this setup, it is not clear what price is going to do here. If we're talking, chart patterns and what the price action is telling us, we're getting one of those classical cupping patterns, and we want to see, okay, are we going to get the handle or not? So if we want to trade this at least to the long side, and we're looking at one of those classical chart patterns, where is my drawing tool? All right. So what we're getting right now is we had a sharp move up and we're pushing lower, and we're kind of in, wait, that's not what I want. I want the tool to draw freely. Ah, there we go. Yeah, so we push lower and we are forming kind of this rounding bottom here, and we're moving up there. So what we want to see is, okay, what happens when we test this level? Do we reject? Okay, that's fine, but that doesn't mean that our bull thesis is off. We reject here, we pull back. What we want to see is once we pull back and we go retest these two levels, right? We want to see a sharp move to the upside. And that's where we would be able to get in, somewhere here around that 4,800 area. And we would be risking that previous low right there, right? So this is, by the way, this is gold. The price on the CFD might differ, but the pattern is going to be the same. So that's where we want to see, okay, are we basically we're pushing, we pushed higher, we found an exhaustion candle, we pulled back, and then buyers are stepping back in. And are we going to continue and kind of push to go retest those lower highs? All right, let me see if I see a trigger. All right, we got our first take profit, so 1 R in profit. That was good. So now what I do, I just move my stop loss to break even. And then if I'm 1 R in profit, so I move it, somewhere around the prior high. This is just to pay for commissions to get a little bit extra. And if we're correct, we'll get a bonus, and then we'll get an extra 2 R. So it'll be total 3 R for the day. If not, then I'll just be 1 R in profit for the day on this. So we'll see what happens. We'll just let this trade play out. But I haven't seen the sharp down move that I want to see. So right now, if we measure, right, we are at the halfway point of this previous opening range here. And we got a decent break and retest. So, we broke the lower end, we pulled back. This would have been a good add, right? But we were not looking. We were looking at gold. And I didn't want to really add to this position because it hasn't been moving sharply like I wanted. So yeah, the next thing here would be continuation. I don't even want to see that. Maybe we get a little move like that, hesitation here because of profit taking, and then we go and target the lows. And at those 24,900s is where we might consider, okay, buyers are probably going to step back in. Why? Because we have one level here that's 24,960 more or less where buyer stepped in. And then if we zoom out, you see right here, we had that wick. So maybe we're going to test and check liquidity here again, at least on an intraday basis, and revert back up. So I don't want to deal with that. And we might not even wait for it to get all the way down here before we get out. So let's see. You said our tiny trade might be the straw that broke the camel's back. We'll see. You never know. You never know. We'll see, Ryan. All right. So we were talking about gold, but we're just gonna let this do what it does. Let's go back to gold and continue to analyze gold. So yeah, when do you want to be aggressive? Is if you find the correct structure. You have, well, I use VWAP, so it would be a pullback to VWAP here, and then we don't go below, and we flip that initial level here, right? And then you might start scaling in here, and then once you kind of start breaking these highs, you could add to your position, risking slowly and adjusting your risk to once we test those highs there, because that's where we might get another pullback, or we might get a sharp, because it's 50-50, or we might get a sharp continuation like this where we move higher, right? So that's one way of trading what we're seeing right now. Or you might want to wait for clearer structure to develop, because let me try to see if I could find another rounding pattern similar to this one. Unfortunately, there are no recent ones, but a very clear one where you could get aggressive, right? Sorry, is here. You see how there's two areas here. You have an impulse, a pullback, but this is a controlled pullback, and it's a defined, that's one of my favorite setups. It's a defined downtrend, right? You have the defined downtrend, And then you have a low. By the way, this is a 30-minute chart. You have an initial low here. You break out of the low. Once you break out of the low, you do not get in. Well, actually, you scale in. You might get one contract like I did this morning. I got one contract, waited, and then added my other contract. So you get in here, you scale in, or if you're going to trade 10 contracts, 100 contracts, whatever you're going to trade, you wait for the pullback, and on that pullback is where you get aggressive, risking that prior low. Because if we are bullish, if we are truly bullish, right, buyers should not let this go here again. And it's the psychology. Let me tell you what the psychology is. Let's say you go to the shoe store and you like shoes, and for a round number, your shoes are selling for $100, right? You like these tennis shoes, are selling for $100, but you don't have $100. Okay, you don't buy the shoes. And then next weekend you go and the shoes are 50% off. So they're selling for $50. That's when a lot of people are going to run and buy these shoes. What is the store seller, the store manager, what should he do? What should he do logically? Well, he's going to raise the price. He's going to put the price back to higher than $50. So higher than $50 is going to either be back at 100 because there's a lot of demand, or back at 120. Let's say he puts it back at 120 and then not a lot of people buy. What is he going to do? He's going to say there's another discount. But this time the discount is going to be from 120. It's not going to be from 100. So if he does another $50 discount, now the price is going to be at $60. And that's where a lot of people are going to go and buy the shoe again. But if a lot of people don't come and buy the shoe, what is what's it called? What is the store owner going to do? Well, he's going to add to that discount and put them back at $50. So psychologically, that's what you're seeing in the price, right? If you're, we could look at it right there. Okay. So let's pretend this is the, how do you call it? This is the shoe price. All right. And this is where our shoe, this is where our shoe was selling at $100, right there. Our shoe is at $100. Then we get a discount and our shoe sells for $50, hypothetically. Okay, our shoe is selling at $50. What happens? Oh man, buyers step in. Buyers say shoe's at $50. Let's buy it. Shoe goes up. Right now, shoe is selling at $120. Right here. Okay. Shoe is selling at $120. What are buyers doing? Buyers are waiting for it to get back to 100 or close to 100 to buy again. And that's what happened here. Buyers waited. Our shoe was here. It was probably at, let's say, $90. So some people bought, but not a lot. So the store owner decides, well, guess what? I'm going to put it back to 50. So it goes back to 50, but nobody buys. Nobody's interested. So shoe owner says, well, I'm going to put it at 40. So right here, he puts the shoe at 40. He puts it at 40, and then some people buy, and then some people buy again, and then the price goes to 60. So right here, the shoe is at 60 or 65. What happens there? Well, people are not interested. People are going to be like, man, it was at 50 and 40. This shoe is losing value. So I don't really want to buy it at that price. I'm going to wait for it to be even at a lower price. And then the store owner continues to lower the price for people to buy. And then here, maybe the shoe is selling at 20. Shoes at 20 here. Okay, we got some people to buy. And then here, the shoe is at 10. Right? The shoe's at 10. We want to see, okay, are people going to buy the shoe at $10? Well, there's another psychological level here. If the shoe's at $10 now, People are like, man, these are some cheap shoes. Maybe they're going to give them away. So what we're trying to find out is, are they going to give away the shoe? So here, the shoe is basically at, here, the shoe's at $1. Right? Let me put the shoe here. Here, the shoe's at the $1. Are people going to wait here and buy? And then right here, the shoe is free. And they're basically, or they're even paying you to get the shoes. So if you get the free shoe here, if we're able to get that, then the next logical thing that happens here is that, okay, everybody is running to get those free shoes, and then we're going to go and try to sell them at all those previous prices. Okay, so if we do a store analogy, that is what's happening with the price. And when you think about gold, when you think about any other asset, that is what you're trying to do. You're trying to see, okay, where is price going to be in? And this volume right there is everybody who's going into the store and buying the shoe, right? And you could see the more price is declining, the less people we have, the less people we have, the less people we have. And then once we have a bunch of people come in, we know, oh, okay, now it's time to flip the price, right? So here, for example, we had a bunch of people come in when the prices was at shoe $40, but the real price 25,000 here. We're seeing an increase, so people are probably liking that $10. And I'm gonna get out here, by the way, guys, because all right, my trade is over. So people are liking this shoe at $10 and they're starting to step in. All we're doing here is, looking at the price, the psychology behind the price, and we're deciding and making trade decisions there. Now, so that's why when you ask, okay, what am I thinking about? I'm kind of thinking like this, and I'm kind of looking at the price action and drawing lines to kind of determine, okay, what is going to happen. And then I look at the volume to see how many people are behind the price action. So how many transactions are happening to make our trade decision. And hey, sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. You get out too early. You think this was the right price, but no, the shoe's going to go to $1. But that's fine, right? That's fine. We can always make mistakes. All right, guys, let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you're trading. So far, we got one good trade for the day. We got our short. It's slowly trending down. We saw an increase of volume here, and I decided, okay, since we're hovering around that half point there, I'm going to get out. All right, let's check out gold. You're saying it's a good entry for long gold, so let's check out gold. Gold is GC. Yes, that is what I was talking about. That is exactly what I was talking about. We are pulling back, right? And you can risk off of this previous low. The only annoying thing on gold is that it'll wick and give you weird price action sometimes. But I'm liking this. I'm liking this entry. Can we risk well on this? I'm liking this entry. So basically, you would enter here, risking the previous low. I don't want to enter just yet, especially not for a day trade, because gold can whip around a lot. But I'll wait. But we're seeing volume increase. We're seeing the price here. That is literally what we were talking about a few minutes ago when we said that what we want to see here is we had this kind of cup and handle, cup formation. We want to see a pullback here. We want to see it hold this level and then revert back to the upside. And as it starts reverting to the upside, then we can enter our long. So we'll see if we get that. And oh man, Ryan, you can't be hoping and praying. Look at that. That's a decent entry. Let me look at the NQ. All right, we're reversing, so that's good. Insomnia trade. Okay, Daniel saying ES take profits 6657, but seems slow so far. All right, let's look at the ES. I haven't looked at the ES much today. 6657. Is that on CFDs? I need but wait, Ryan, are you in a short or are you in a long? Where are you? Where did you enter? Because I remember you were in a long and then you had your stop loss. Oh, okay. You're short. All right. You guys are more patient than I am. Let me see. MNQ. Yesterday, I was way too patient and then I didn't get my exit where I wanted. So I'm just going to go home with that 1.5R for today. Hoping and praying. I don't know, man. I'm seeing, so let me go back to my little yeah, we're retesting these previous lows. So we'll see if we get follow through or not. But hoping and praying is good sometimes. Yeah, it's a long way to go. Levels only, no patterns or setups. Yeah, some people trade levels only. That's good. I like to combine levels, patterns, and trend. So basically the speed of price. But that's just me. That's how I see the charts. But yeah, it's perfectly fine. My dream is to be able to trade one day like this. Let me show you guys. One day I want to trade like this. And Daniel's gonna like that one. Well, I'm not gonna take the watermark out because I want to know what I'm trading. But one day I want to be able to trade like this and not have anything on the chart. So we'll see. All right, buyer stepping in. Let's see if it's a fake one or a real one. You're kidding. 6657 future short. Let me look at what Daniel is saying. Reset. Daniel is probably doing a swing trade. Oh yeah, you're targeting these lows. Yeah, that's a multi-day hold. You're gonna deal with a lot of ups and downs, but we'll see what happens. I have to say these lows have been holding very well though, so we'll see. It's a long hold, but Daniel has been trading a lot longer than I have, so I trust your analysis. And we're doing since you know you could pull back and continue lower. It's just that the pullbacks here were not as deep as the ones we got after this move. So that's why, you know, I'm still leaning towards maybe the possibility of us reverting back up, because on this day we had, you know, that huge move, we had a sharp pullback. We couldn't retest the highs. We went low and then we just continued that bearish structure for the rest of the first day. And the next day, you know, we formed lower lows and then we completely reverted back down. So I don't know if we'll get that again today. I mean, not today, but the next few days. But we've been holding up pretty well. I mean, we've been holding up to the upper quartile of the range. So we'll see. Have a plan, trade your plan. That is it. That is it. Naked. Naked is not the best way, but in trading, yeah. 6657 is where the big money bought last time. I may close earlier, but that is the target. Awesome, man. Awesome. And if that does happen, that would be awesome. That would be great. And all right, we're seeing buyers step back in. I might want to enter a second. Ah, get it, get it, get it, get it. This is the long entry I was thinking about. Let me turn my levels back on. Are we going to get it, guys? We got the volume increase. This might be another retest of this, by the way. We don't know. All right, we got in. It's kind of late, but we'll see. Because we got some resistance there. But I'm just thinking we might get some follow through and go either retest these highs or really get going with the long that Ryan was looking for this morning. Or this might be a fake out. We'll see. Might be one of those other moves. This might be the second late entry short. So we want to see fast follow through on this one as well. If not, then that was a short entry. And this one I'm going to trade very tightly because I don't want to give back too much of the profit. We've only made 1.5 R. So let us see what happens there. And it's going to be 11 o'clock. It's going to be London close in a few. So probably a lot of people getting out. But the shoe theory, basically, that I was talking about, people stepped in when they heard shoes were $10. That used to be, $100. Well, they stepped in at $20, at $10, if we were considering this to be a shoe, and they bought. Now they might want to just double their investment, and if they bought for 10 and they're selling at 30, $40, that's good enough for them, and then they move it back down. But they might be greedy and want to sell at 65, or very greedy and sell it again at 100. So we'll see what happens. We just bought our shoe, if it was our shoe, at $30. So a little bit above this. So yeah. So that's how I think about price and market theory. So let's see if we get it. And I think the gold entry is probably making sense. Yeah, I didn't want to take this, but this is a good entry there. So we're going to leave this here, this theoretical entry, and see what it does, targeting those previous highs there. That might be a longer hold, but we'll see. A quick one would be, just taking these highs again. All right, let's look on the NQ. If we get follow through, if not, this is just a second entry short. Because we're right at that $25,000 inflection. So we want to see what we can get. 6657 is where the big money bought last time. Let me look at the ES and let's take a look at these levels and let's see what kind of volume was done at these levels really quick while this trade is doing what it does. Let's look at the ES. Let me get this out of the way. Let's put it on a daily chart. Sorry, let's put it on a 4-hour maybe. 6657. Let me put my volume profile there. Yeah. It's an interesting level. It's right above 675, 6657. It is an interesting level. We had some decent accumulation there. So let's see what happens. Let me look at the YM. Dow Jones. So we are bearish on the 4-hour. So I probably shouldn't hold my long for too long. We'll see. NQ. And our point of control is around 25.35. So yeah, we're right below that point of control. Not something I want to hold for too long. Yep, we're already seeing some rejection there. And let's trail. Just gonna trail this with a 2-minute. We're gonna trail this position. I don't have a real target on it. I'm just gonna trail 2-minute bars. Because if we don't see follow through, this is just gonna get sold around here again. So we'll trail this. If we get a little bit of a bonus, great. If we don't, then we don't. Yep. You see, we're seeing some selling already. Let us see what we can get. This is just an extra bonus. All right, Daniel, thanks. Thanks for being a part of us. Say hi to Rich for me. Great guy, great trader. And I'll see you on the Discord. All right, we're getting a little bit of a bonus on this trade. So the idea here is that we kind of traded. So if we trace a trend line from here to here, we're breaking the downward structure, right? We found a bottom here. We found buyers right below that $25,000 level. We saw, at least on the 1-minute chart, that buyers were stepping in aggressively with volume. So on this bar right there. So on the break of this, which I entered kind of late, unfortunately, because I got my fill there, the better fill would have been around there, the 25,987 more or less. We are reverting back to the upside. So now, once we conquer, and if we conquer this area here, and we break above VWAP, what we want to see is a break, a move higher than this, and either a squeeze, which would be awesome, or we kind of form a higher high, pull back, and then continue to the upside and go test these highs over there, at least in the short term. In the longer term, if we zoom out, let me zoom out. You know, there are many other levels that we can test, and this might have just been, if we check, we had one touch here, one break below. Here we had another support here at those 955s. Here at 952, we had support again, and we found support at the same exact level, well, very close at 960. So this might be the much longer term play. And I was looking at it this morning, right there. Let me put this on a longer term chart. Reset. Was it on the MNQ? I had it drawn. Give me 1 second, guys. Or was it on the ES? Where was it? Ah, there we go. Okay, ES is kind of our guide right here, and this is a great setup, and it might turn into a much longer term hold if it does work. You see how and that's why I wasn't fond of holding my short too long, because if we look at this trend line from these highs there, right? We're kind of finding a resistance here. Well, let me look at my short, my long. Yeah, we're finding resistance at these levels. Are we able? Oh, it's going to be 11 o'clock. That's why. Maybe we squeeze higher. Anyways, we'll let this do what it does, and we'll get back to that now. Yeah, so we kind of form an indecision here. We broke out and then we pulled back into that previous resistance trend line, right? So it's entirely possible that we go and target these highs again. So, you know, we form this structure here. We break out of this resistance line, we pull back and react exactly there, which corresponds to the previous area where we had kind of found resistance. Basic technical analysis says that, previous resistance becomes support. So we found support there. We're testing those levels again. If we're able to break higher, then great. If not, then we'll go and maybe test these lows again and form another structure right here. So let's see what happens at 11 o'clock and if we can get the move higher. Let's check gold really quick. Yep, gold is forming that structure I talked about earlier. Where you could possibly consider entering a long position. So whoever had that call, was it, yeah, Badat F19. I think so far that was a good call on that entry there on gold. Let's look at silver. Silver is not looking as nice as gold for entries, but we'll see. All right, back on this, we're getting a pullback. We're getting somewhat of a reaction. So this, again, equal highs there, might have been another possible short entry. So let's see. Are we going to be able to hold right above VWAP or not? Is this level going to be flipped? And is this going to turn into, a sharp move up? We'll find out. We will find out. I just want this to keep moving there, and I'm keeping my wrist very tight. Let me put it there so I pay for commissions. If it does wick me out, and if it works, great. We'll get an extra bonus. If not, then we did our job today. But that said long at 47.60. All right, let's take a look. 47.60. Well, if you're on the futures, that is an awesome entry. If you're on the CFDs, there's about, I think, a 50-point difference. So 47.60 would probably be 47, or maybe a 20-point difference, 47.80 maybe. So great, man. That's a great entry. That's what we were talking about this morning, when we said that you could possibly look at a setup like that on gold. So awesome there. All right, it's going to be 11 o'clock in about 1 minute. We'll see what kind of reaction we get. Let me put the hourly chart on the right. And let me get all of those lines out of the way. Man, this is we have some huge indecision candles here on the hourlies. People can't decide what to do. Should they push it higher? Should they push it lower? You see how we have this huge wick there? And we have the same thing to the downside. So for the past 2 hours, we've been in indecision mode. Fortunately, as scalpers, we're able to take advantage of that, and get our little profits here and there. But longer term, this is a huge indecision kind of make or break area there. So will we be able to push to the upside, or will we continue this downward move? We'll see. On the short term, this is this has reverted back into the opening range. So what we want to see is, are we able to push up, and what kind of reaction do we get around this area? Now, this morning I had made a little circle, and I'll go back to that circle and kind of tell you what my thought process was there. And we'll go over why I entered again. So this morning, before we entered our short, I told you, well, I want to see if we do get there, how are we going to react in that circle, and I put this circle area there, and I wanted to see, okay, what are we going to do there? And you see, we found buyers. They tried to push it up, but we immediately found selling. We tried to push up again and found selling. So this was key. This was interesting information for me, and part of why I entered the short. So we're back into that level, after getting a discount here, and we're trying to see, okay, what are we going to do? Are we going to agree that the price is too expensive there, and we have to move, lower, and move even lower than there? Or so first of all, we're going to check, should we move at the same price and kind of revert back like that, or should we just continue lower and continue like that? That would be the bearish scenario. Now, the bullish scenario is, man, you know what? The price is back at this level. That's the price I wanted it at. It's right above that $25,000 area. You know what? Let me take advantage of that, and we would see buyers stepping in, and then the price going to test that area there. So we will see what happens. Let me get my volume bars back. It's not volume profile, it is volume. So I could see not a lot of volume there, which is okay. It looks like sellers are not, buyers are not yet able to push the price higher. So that's where we found buyers last time. So we'll see if we can hold above there and then push back to the upside. Let me put back my 2-minute bars because there's just a lot of noise on the 1 minute. I just want to see this clearer. So we'll see. Ryan, how you doing? Did you get back long? What are you doing? Is Antoine here? I didn't see Antoine today. So after this close, I'm gonna start trailing my stop. After this candle closes. We're seeing rejection. So all right. So buyers are not able to push the price higher. We retested this area, so we're probably going to go recheck the price down there. So there we go. Let's just close this trade. We didn't really get a huge bonus, but we explored the idea. Ryan says, still holding. My initial long was a short-term trade. Didn't expect it to last for longer than 30 minutes. All right, nice. Yeah, lots of uncertainty. We see, oh, I might have gotten out prematurely, but it's entirely possible that we kind of flip and go to the upside. I mean, we're above 25,000, which is to me a key level. Lots of indecision yet. I think we're trying to decide what to do. Nice. Yeah, I do that also. I do have time for me to see. Sometimes I have a time for me to see a reaction, and if I don't see it within a certain period of time, depending on the trade, of course, I'll get out. So, yep, I do that. I totally do that. And that time varies. So, for example, if we're trading, so for example, here the reason why I got out of the short was because not only we were trading at that half point, So let me just bring my executions back up. So right here, so I entered, let's see, I entered right here. I entered the short here. We took our initial profit here when we saw the volume increase and then waited for the second one. But after that, we pulled back and um, my basically my idea was, okay, we took the first profit, we took a pullback, we did a small pullback here, we should continue further to the downside. And after this candle, so this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes after. So we're talking 2 5-minute bars. So usually mine varies between 10 to 15 minutes. If we don't get another push down, then I'm getting out because it's taking too long. We're still within that 1.5 hour window between 9:30 and 11 o'clock, where price moves fast and price moves sharply. If we're not getting sharp reactions there, then we're probably not going to follow through. And that's what happened. We didn't get follow through to the downside. We reverted back up, and now the longs are holding it. So yeah. I do use timed stops as well. Get some water here. Oh, guys, I didn't see the time. Time flies when you're having fun. It's already 11 o'clock. So I'm going to thank everybody who was here. Thanks for watching. I'm glad we were able to take these trades together and get those wins. And tomorrow, remember, I'll be on Trade the Pool for CPI. So tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern, I'll be live with Steve on Trade the Pool channel, but also here. So we'll be streaming on both. So I'll be live tomorrow for that. And hopefully we can get into some more trades. But we'll definitely be talking markets and having fun. So yeah. Brian saying your previous risk manager was the one that introduced you to them. He's the next level trader. Yes. I do use them as well. So awesome, man. Awesome. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and have a great rest of your week. You're welcome. Thank you, Barry.